Eldoria, a city bathed in sunlight, prosperous and proud. Towers scraped the sky, markets overflowed with fruits unseen in other lands. Laughter echoed through wide, clean streets. It was a city blessed by the gods, so the people believed. And for a time, it seemed they were right. The land yielded bountiful harvests. Craftsmen created works of breathtaking beauty. Scholars unearthed secrets of the universe. Eldoria was a beacon of hope, a testament to the gods' favor. Generations lived and died, their lives touched by the city's magic. They built temples grand and opulent to honor their divine benefactors. Offerings flowed like rivers, a constant stream of gratitude for their blessings. The people of Eldoria knew only peace and prosperity. They believed it would last forever. They were wrong. A shadow fell upon Eldoria, subtle at first, a chill in the air when no wind blew, a sour note in the songs of birds. The sun seemed a little less bright. Whispers of unease spread through the bustling marketplaces. Something was amiss. The high priestess, Lyra, a woman of unparalleled wisdom and grace, felt it most keenly. She saw the change in the sacred flames, the way they flickered and spat, their warmth leached away.
The gods were displeased.
Their reasons, shrouded in mystery, were a source of endless speculation and growing fear. Lyra sought answers in the flickering flames, in the rustle of leaves, in the patterns of the stars. But the gods remained silent, their anger a palpable weight upon the city. Then one starless night the message came.
A sacrifice was demanded, a life for the city's continued existence.
A terrible choice with the fate of Eldoria hanging in the balance. Lyra, Lyra's daughter, was the very heart of Eldoria. Her laughter was like the chime of temple bells, her touch as gentle as the summer rain. She moved through the city like a ray of sunshine, her presence a source of joy to all who knew her. Lyra knew nothing of the prophecy, of the dark cloud hanging over her beloved city. She lived in blissful ignorance, her days filled with music, laughter, and the simple pleasures of life. But fate, like a river, follows a preordained path, no matter how it might twist and turn. One day her mother summoned her.
Lyra, my dear, we need to talk.
The light-heartedness vanished from Lyra's eyes, replaced by a chilling solemnity. She spoke of the prophecy, of the gods' anger, of the terrible price that had to be paid.
The gods demand a sacrifice, Lyra, a life for the city's continued existence.
Lyra listened, her heart pounding in her chest, a cold dread seeping into her bones. She understood the weight of her mother's words, the impossible choice laid bare before them. With a heavy heart and unwavering resolve, Lyra made her decision.
I will become the sacrifice.
The festival of the harvest moon, a night of celebration, of joyous abandon, of gratitude for the land's bounty. But this year a pall hung over the festivities. The air crackled with unease and the laughter held a hollow, brittle edge. Torches flickered nervously, casting long dancing shadows that seemed to writhe and contort with a life of their own. The scent of incense, usually sweet and cloying, now carried a sharp metallic tang. Lyra, adorned in white robes, stood at the center of it all. Her face, pale but composed, betrayed none of the fear that gnawed at her. She was a beacon amidst the growing darkness, her courage a flickering flame in the gathering storm. As the moon reached its zenith, bathing the city in its silvery light, she began to chant. The words, ancient and powerful, echoed through the silent square, a plea and a farewell. The crowd watched, their faces etched with a mixture of awe, fear, and morbid fascination. The air grew heavy, thick with anticipation and dread. This was not a celebration, it was a last, desperate prayer. The ground rumbled. A crack appeared in the cobblestones, splitting the earth like a spider web. From its depths, a guttural growl echoed, a sound that seemed to claw its way up from the deepest pits of existence. The crowd gasped, their whispers dying in their throats as a chilling cold descended upon the city. The air crackled with a malevolent energy, and the very air seemed to thin, making it difficult to breathe. Then it emerged, a creature of nightmare, its form shifting and swirling like smoke, given monstrous life. Tentacles of shadow lashed out, studded with eyes that burned with a cold, malevolent light. Its maw, a gaping abyss ringed with razor-sharp teeth, opened in a silent scream. Panic erupted, the crowd scattered, a wave of terror washing over them. Their cries, filled with primal fear, echoed through the streets, but there was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The creature moved with terrifying speed, its tentacles snatching people from the fleeing crowd, their screams cut short as they were dragged into the chasm. Dawn broke over a scene of utter devastation. The once proud city of Eldoria lay in ruins, its streets littered with rubble and the bodies of the slain. The air, heavy with the stench of death and decay, was punctuated by the mournful cries of those who had lost everything. Buildings were reduced to smouldering ruins, their former glory nothing more than a painful memory. The creature was gone, vanished back into the abyss from whence it came. But the memory of that night, of the terror and the carnage, lingered like a shroud over the ruins. Survivors picked through the rubble, their faces etched with grief and disbelief. They had prayed for a miracle. Instead, they received only oblivion. The gods had demanded a sacrifice, and they had taken their due and more. The city of Eldoria, once a beacon of hope and prosperity, was no more.
We had prayed for a miracle, but all we got was oblivion. The gods took their due, and more. Eldoria, our beacon of hope, is no more.
In the aftermath, a heavy silence hung over the ruins, broken only by the sobs of the bereaved. The gods, once so revered, were conspicuously absent. There were no visions, no pronouncements, no words of comfort or solace. They had taken their due and retreated into their celestial realm, leaving behind a shattered city and a broken people.
The survivors huddled together, seeking comfort in shared grief and the remnants of their shattered faith. Some cursed the gods, their hearts filled with bitterness and rage. Others clung to the belief that they had been punished for their sins, that this was a test of their devotion. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the silence from the heavens remained unbroken. The gods, it seemed, had abandoned them.
Lyra's sacrifice, meant to appease the gods and save her city, had been in vain. Her courage, her selflessness had amounted to nothing. The creature had taken her along with countless others, leaving behind only destruction and despair. The survivors spoke her name in hushed tones, their voices filled with a mixture of reverence and sorrow. She became a martyr, a symbol of both hope and despair. Hope that even in the face of oblivion, one could choose selflessness. Despair that even the greatest sacrifice could not appease the whims of capricious gods. As the years passed, the ruins of Eldoria became a place of pilgrimage, a stark reminder of the gods' fickle nature. Travelers from distant lands came to pay their respects, to whisper prayers for the lost, and to ponder the nature of faith and sacrifice. Some claimed to hear whispers on the wind as they wandered through the desolate streets, voices from the past echoing through the ages. Legends arose, tales of ghostly apparitions and phantom lights dancing amidst the ruins. Whether these were merely the imaginings of superstitious minds or something more, no one could say for sure. The tale of Eldoria became a cautionary one, passed down through generations. It served as a reminder that the gods, for all their power and majesty, were not to be trusted. Their motives were their own, their actions often inscrutable. They demanded obedience, offered blessings, and meted out punishments with equal capriciousness. The fall of Eldoria served as a stark reminder. The line between divine favor and divine wrath was thin indeed. And sometimes even the greatest sacrifice was not enough to bridge the chasm.